Good morning. We're live. Good morning. I would like to welcome all members and guests to the March 19th, 2025 OPP Detachment Board meeting. I will remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised. Please ensure that your phones are on silent mode. For those attending virtually, please mute yourself when not speaking. When called upon to speak, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. For staff in attendance, please use the Microsoft Teams raise hand feature to be called upon and remove it after speaking. With that, I call the March 19th, 2025 OPP Detachment Board meeting to order. And our roll call at this point in time, all of our members are present. Number one on our agenda is the approval of the agenda or changes to the agenda. May I have, does anyone have anything to add to the agenda? Yes. Okay, so anybody, okay. I wanted to add the meeting dates to the agenda. And I also wanted to add the Crime Stoppers luncheon to the agenda. And Member Veery? Okay. All right, so I have a motion, and Member Cruz is the seconder. All those in favor? And that is carried. At this time, I would like to request, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have no presentations today, no deputations, no consent items. So we will move on to items for consideration. 9.1 on the agenda, operations statistics and highlights, January and February. Detachment Commander Andy Tate will present. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be here, a beautiful day, and what a better day to provide some feedback and input on our January and February stats. What I'd like to do is kind of give more or less an overall perspective on the 2 months. Unless, and this is subject to obviously any questions from the board members, if you have any areas of specific concern or interest that you'd like to ask specifically, but overall the stats for those 2 months, we saw a consistent reduction in all areas. With the exception of excuse me, I'm just on the tail end of a cold, but with the exception of the arson category, which did see an increase, which I think we're all very, very live to and very much aware of. Even in the last meeting, the investigation was ongoing at that time, and I couldn't really speak too much to it. Since then, we've had some very, very productive and very wonderful developments with that, with 2 persons being identified and arrested and charged accordingly for those offenses. So, just restoring again confidence and a feeling of safety in the community. So, you will see the spike there for arsons, but again, the matter has been dealt with and resolved with that. With respect to other things, yes, as I've alluded, all the areas there are reductions, which is good news. All areas of significance, whether it's criminal offenses to motor vehicle collisions, etc., have all seen a reduction. However, we have additionally seen a corresponding reduction in specifically traffic stats that I've noted, and foot patrol hours as well. So what I've always tried to assure the board here is having the confidence in us that I never like to sit back and wait to be told that there's areas that we need to improve on or areas that we need to focus on. Our command team here in Norfolk Detachment is always committed to identifying improvements anytime that we can see things that we can do better. So, as I mentioned in the last meeting, did see a slight increase in motor vehicle collisions, pretty much across the board, from personal injury to property damage to even fatal injuries or fatal occurrences as well, unfortunately. So our command team, in addressing that, put together a very, very local, very, very comprehensive motor vehicle reduction strategy, which is a multi-pronged impact resulting from direct targeted enforcement based on a close analysis and looking at our metrics and our analytics to see what areas we're seeing the highest levels of motor vehicle collisions, and sending our people, just like the old adage, the old comparison of, you send the fire truck right to the fire. You don't just send the fire truck just out to find the fires. So using our analytics, we're in a position now in 2025 where we can see and target our efforts a lot better. So this week in particular, as we're sitting here now, is the first week. It'll be a quarterly local strategy that we will be rolling out each quarter. So this week in particular, we do have the motor vehicle reduction strategy, collision MVC reduction strategy in place. So again, it's using our detachment media to educate. We're also to enforce, and then we're also going to evaluate. So kind of a 3E approach to look at this. Already seeing some real productive excellence that's been done by our members. I believe yesterday we had
350 over.
We had 3 stunt driving charges done, so that's over 50 kilometers an hour in the speed limit. And again, too, like through our analysis, and I think I mentioned this even before, and we did see it in the stats, that the leading causal factor that we were finding for our motor vehicle collisions was in fact speed. So, which makes sense. It's basic physics, and not being an expert in physics by any means, but speed, as speed increases, that's the probability increases too. So in dealing with that, it's very, I find it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm very pleased that we had 3 stunt charges laid, people that are driving at that speed, which is extremely dangerous, in areas where we have had previous motor vehicle collisions. However, at the same time, it just is a reminder to us that we can always do better, and in fact that this is happening. This is happening daily in our county, and we need to always keep addressing it. So, without any further ado with that, I'll be really excited to, even in our next meeting, just to be able to share the results of this week with you, and just to show what the fantastic work that the members at our detachment are always doing with that. With respect to foot patrols, which has always been kind of a little item near and dear to my heart, and I know to Madam Chair as well, again, organizationally from the regional level, we've had direct direction to really enhance our rides, like to make sure that each platoon during a scheduled shift is doing 1 to 2 rides per shift, which is great. What I'm going to be imposing at our detachment as well, especially with the weather improving, we had obviously a very challenging winter from that, and I understand that, but with the weather getting better, it's going to be expected that our members do conduct daily foot patrols in around the county in various areas as well. So that's an area that I'd really want to see the numbers go up in. And part of that is, again, trying to be as resourceful as we can in using our assets and looking at our membership to see how we can best address certain areas. So we have a thing in the OPP called, I know I mentioned in the past, and excuse me, I know the board's probably aware of it with the OPP, the service delivery model, where essentially different main components are broken down into percentages, and they look for all our members, all our officers to basically hit at those percentages during their daily duties. So, one's calls for service, another's administrative duties, another is proactive enforcement, and another is basically community engagement, dealing with the community. So we really try to make sure that everyone's fulsomely doing their best. However, I know the board is very, very, very understanding of the fact that depending on staffing levels at any given time, calls for service spiking, sometimes some of those proactive areas maybe fall a little bit. So it's kind of a scale that rises and falls a little bit. So in us recognizing that, we do have 2 officers in particular that we will be identifying as locally as our service delivery model officers. And all those headings, all those top subjects that I mentioned there, their job is going to be to satisfying those areas. So that could mean going out and doing focus patrols, targeted traffic enforcement, foot patrols, excuse me, attending community events, organizing community events, etc. So I really, really think that these 2 officers too will kind of fill that void and really, really enhance and increase some of those other areas as well, just to kind of add another layer of productivity to the detachment. And of course too, one of the other things with our service delivery model too is, as an aside, in the OPP we have a thing called daily activity reporting. We have a daily activity report with codes, and it's onto all of us, all members in the OPP. We have to submit a daily activity report for each scheduled shift that we do, and it just basically outlines what you've done that day. And I know you can appreciate too, it's a code system. There's different numbers for different codes and that. It always opens up the possibility for incorrect coding or incorrect, just user error basically for inputting the wrong stats. So I've asked locally too for us to review how our members are inputting, what they're inputting, just to make sure that the coding is correct. Just for data integrity, to make sure that, again, we're very, as accurately as we possibly can, reporting on things. Because I think before in one of the meetings, we were showing, for example, 0 motorcycle patrol, for example, when in fact, I know they were going out daily in the motorcycle. So I think it's just a matter of how they're scoring their stats with that. So again, it's just other little things that we have always on the go there, just to try to make the most of what we have, and to be able to show just the success and the impact that we're having out there in the community. And really, other than that, subject to any questions, if any of the board members, like, by all means, have any questions about any specific stats, I'm open for any questions.
Okay, with that, just before we go to questions, would you like to introduce to the public the individuals on your right-hand side?
I most certainly would, and it's, what, as we all know, we've seen over the months and the past year and a bit, there's been a lot of change in the detachment. It's my real incredible honor to have these 2 individuals here with me that help together. The 3 of us are a team within a team, and we are the Norfolk County Detachment Command Team. So challenged with making big decisions together. It's a very collaborative partnership with the 3 of us, and it's a real team effort here. So without further ado, beside me is Staff Sergeant Catherine Braceland. And next to Catherine is Staff Sergeant Jean Larman. And again, very, very welcome additions, and they've already hit the ground running, and they're doing incredible things at detachment.
On behalf of our OPP Detachment Board, welcome to Norfolk County. And now, with that, we'll go back to questions. Okay, Member Vanden Rishi?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. I have a quick question, and I didn't know this, but how do you e-ticket? I saw the stat on e-ticketing, and I went, who in the world e-tickets? What does that mean?
Well, thank you. Obviously, not being a technological wizard myself, but I do have a bit of an understanding on e-ticketing. So I know Board Member Cruz is very, very much aware of, we used to have the ticket books, and we'd
Yeah.
write our tickets on the ticket books. Essentially, the OPP has modernized and through technology, and has gone through, everything's electronic. So our officers' ticket books are archaic now. They're not required. I'm one of the, you should see me, I know I'm kind of at a loss, but essentially with the computer systems in the cars, the officers can take the driver's license, swipe it, it imports a lot of information from the driver's license and the computer system into a virtual e-ticket, and then they can just plug in what other information they want. They can put their evidence, type in their evidence for that attached to as well, and print it off, and then that's what they can serve on the driver.
So
with that.
there is a physical copy that goes to the driver?
Yes, yes.
Because we've met at the window before.
Yes.
I just, I always got a piece of paper.
Yeah, and the other good thing with e-ticketing too is it also, you can do the same process for a warning. So
Oh, that's what I saw, e-warnings, yeah.
yeah, so whereas before, you may do a traffic stop, you'd write down in your notebook and that you wrote a ticket for failed to produce ownership, and gave a warning for an expired expired insurance card. And then you just kind of made just an informal note of that.
Right.
But now this is all recorded, and you can actually give the warning to the person. It's documented, it's tracked, and especially kind of back to motor vehicle collision reduction strategies. Very often when we do have a fatal motor vehicle collision, which is very tragic, the first thing our investigators do is they look at the involved drivers and look at their history.
Right.
So it's never a good thing when we look at the history and we see 15, 20 warnings,
Yeah.
for speed or for whatever, and then here we are. So it's kind of a good measurement for us to use as well.
Okay. Oh, perfect, thank you.
Member Cruz.
Thank you, Chair. That was my question. The e-ticket warnings was my question, but I have got some comments, if I may. I'm happy to hear about your traffic incentives, as in most communities in Norfolk. I think speeding is probably one of the most biggest complaints that we get, or perhaps councillors get. And it's great to see that the OPP is on it. And not for the January or February stat report here, but I've been reading recently the work that the OPP is doing, the Haldimand Norfolk Street Crime Unit, and the Uniform Patrol officers with some successful drug investigations on the street there. I love reading those. I think it makes a big difference in our community. And recently there's been a couple of big investigations and successful arrests. They're a great job, well done to your staff there, if you could let them know from the board.
I definitely
Good
will. You're absolutely right. We've had some very significant seizures and some work being done, and obviously some ongoing work as well. That's their efforts are tireless. They really are amazing in the work that they do to make the community safe, and they do it very, very unassumingly, and they don't look for credit, they don't look for praise, and I really admire them. I really do, like the amount of work that they do behind the scenes to make everyone safe in your daily really business. Yeah,
Absolutely. I think it makes a huge difference in community safety here in Norfolk, so thank you.
Member Veery.
Thanks, Chair. A couple questions for Inspector there. Actually, I want to start just with help me out here. Unfounded. Why are there so many unfounded property complaints? Like, what is an unfounded property complaint?
Unfounded, and again, it's kind of a catch basin. It's a little bit of a I'm trying to think of a good, can you think of a good example that you think would? I know, it's a very broad, it's kind of a very general thing. So it could mean, and I'm just trying to kind of grasp here, if it's a property-related occurrence that's unfounded, it could be something that basically charges weren't laid. It didn't really materialize into anything. It was just kind of classified as such, but.
Okay, because there's 17, and it just seemed like that was by far the most unfounded complaints. How would that be unfounded? Either there's a property thing or not, but that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple of questions about the arsons as well, just because I had a couple of calls from some of the farmers that were affected. Is there anything, so the tone of the calls has been, we're not doing anything, and they're allowing lawlessness and whatever else, and I don't agree with that assessment, but if it exists, then we can't just tell them that their feelings are wrong. So, what can farmers or people that live rurally in general do to maybe protect themselves in maybe a cost efficient way that, we're not going to ask them to spend, $100,000 on security, but the concern is, even like with the arsons, even with their insurance payouts, there's still a substantial financial loss there. So do you have any suggestions for going forward, things they may not have thought of that might help them in the future?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, specific to the arsons and a lot of the victims that were impacted by this, even for us too, it was very, very upsetting and very concerning for all of us. And just to kind of see that really a targeted segment of the population was really being impacted, and at its peak, there's fear as well. Like, people were very upset and concerned. I think, there's kind of several things. I think, again, if any kind of positive collaborative approach to kind of strategy to deal with this would be the farming community in itself, obviously within their network and their community, and that too, setting up neighborhood watches. You can still do a neighborhood watch in a rural area, but sharing information and having some sort of, whether it's using modern technology or group chats, et cetera, to frequently share information with one another. That's always beneficial. It also goes with, specific to this occurrence, we were looking at a lot of quasi-abandoned properties, or structures, I should say. So while the structure maybe wasn't being used for anything, it was still on somebody's property. And, I think it's just being mindful too to, if you do have a large acreage and you do have a lot of property there, you do have to pretty routinely check your property. And we even see it with illicit marijuana grows as well, where sometimes people will plant cannabis marijuana in amongst legitimate farm crop, and that to conceal it as well. So, as a farmer, in the farming community, you should always be checking your property, sharing information with neighbors. Obviously, you can always enhance things. Security systems to purchase now to really run the gamut. They can be literally $200 to as much as you want to pay, like basically for that. I think where we can kind of support and assist with that as well, even with the police, is something that comes to mind is we do a lot of very, very fulsome ongoing educational sessions with members of the community, and whether it's our the very cherished and valuable seniors in our community, to help equip them for dealing with frauds that are out there that are pretty rampant. We do a lot of OPP presentations to that specific target group. So what we could do definitely is almost a town hall educational session with our local farming community with OPP, and to give just to cover off some environmental design stuff that you can do to your properties to better protect yourselves and for the future. It was a lot of lessons learned, I think, from this as well.
Okay, and is there anything that, with everything you said, which of these, if any, or if there's other ones, would help most in any future investigations? Obviously, we're not rooting for arson, but just in general, if there are property issues out in the rural areas, like what tools could they be using that would give you more information to help you?
Well, I think too, and you know, when we're challenged with geographics, it's very, very hard, and it's easier said than done.
Yep.
I do say, I hate to say, but if you go back to even just old methods of a lot of people in a community, you know your neighbors, you know what vehicles don't belong, you know, and you know, any suspicious activity, and that's the thing, like a lot of people living in different areas will know that this road that I live on and my farm's on, it doesn't go anywhere. And there's really, why is this motor vehicle parked here, or why is it coming up the road? And that, and reporting it and letting us know about it, because it can be, all these little pieces can eventually lead to a bigger puzzle that we're able to solve. And you know, even if they report suspicious vehicles or suspicious persons that they see, it may at that moment not mean too much, but then later on it all pulls together for the investigators.
Okay. Now you mentioned about challenges of rural. Do you want to, like, is there anything else you wanted to sort of maybe elaborate on, just so rural residents maybe have a better understanding of some of the challenges that the OPP faces? You know, people call and they say, well, how come there's not cruisers going around up and down the roads? Well, okay, that's probably not a practical solution. So is there anything else that maybe with this opportunity you would say to rural residents, just so they're aware, not excuses, whatever, but just say, here are some of the things, like this is why we can't do those things you think we should do?
Right. And those are some very good points. And I think too, it's, sometimes you have to experience it. And I think if for somebody to essentially say, get in their car or motor vehicle and drive from one end of the county to the other, drive from the top to the bottom, the north to the south, you'll get a very, very good understanding of how large this county is. And then you look at, you know, the number of officers that are assigned that are doing, you know, multiple calls for service. They're out there working and stuff. And unfortunately, we just can't simply be everywhere at once. And that's where it kind of reverts back to even Sir Robert Peel and, you know, the community are the police and the police are the community. There really has to, we really do rely heavily on the community and the community using even tools like Crime Stoppers. You know what, you have to ask questions. And I think too, you know, if you know that person or you know a family friend or you know somebody and and you think they're doing something wrong, it's called, you know, it's integrity. And I think it's part of our character, and it's reporting things and doing what's right. And I think sharing information early on could really help with that. But again, as far as without getting into specific police tactics and how we do things, obviously, say something as simple as surveillance. Surveillance in a large built-up municipal center is very easy to do, for police investigators to do undetected. Obviously, in a rural setting where it's very remote and vehicles stand out and stick out a little bit, it's a lot more challenging. So it makes it even that aspect a lot more difficult for our investigators to try to you know, do their investigation out in a very rural environment.
Okay, and then last one. So there's lots of disadvantages to being rural. Are there any advantages? Can we leave this on a good note, or is it all just bad news?
No, you know what? I think I think the advantages are personally, I think, way overwhelming. I think it's you know what, you can breathe. You're out in the country and there isn't and this is just my own, personal little take on it and stuff, but I think that's what attracts so many people even to Norfolk County. Incredibly beautiful location. You're away from the traffic, the congestion, the everything. You do, as I alluded to, even in the farming community, you actually know your neighbor. Like you actually know the family, you know everything about them for generations and that, which is extremely, extremely special. And in a city, you just don't have that.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Member Vanden Rishi.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. We're very lucky in our area, in the Langton area. We know most of our officers out there, and lots of times they will do that up and down concession sort of deal, even though they do know that the 13th goes nowhere. But at the end of the day, they will stop in once in a while, and they'll remind you, they'll tell you to lock up the barns, make sure you're going away today, lock up the barns, and then they'll tell you, keep the equipment behind the barns, and not in the field as we used to do sometimes. Sometimes we used to cultivate or whatever, and we leave a tractor sitting out there. You don't do that, or you don't leave equipment outside anymore. And they also indicated, like some of the officers, if you can, there was very inexpensive monitoring that you can put up on a barn, because we all have long driveways. So at the end of the day, if there's somebody traveling up, at least you have a picture of that vehicle coming in through and installing lightage. So we're very lucky in our area, to leave it on a good note. We do speak to our officers. We do know our officers in our area, and we're very proud of them. And when we need them, they come out and they know where we live, because they know the area so well. So, but in that case, like I say, they will stop you once in a while, or we feel connected enough that if they're on the street or by the corner, we'll stop and talk to them. And they'll say, did you see anybody here? Because we do have roads that don't go anywhere. And if you're going down the dirt 13th, you don't need to be there, because the road is not maintained, and you're only up to mischief if you're going down that way. And they'll ask, have you seen anybody, do you think, or whatever. They're always, you can have the opportunity to stop and chat with them, and they're very good at all that. So I commend those that are in our area, so that's good. Just wish that we could get them more to the west, because on the 19 out there, that's where I get my most complaints, and so they'd like to see an officer cruise out that way once in a while. But anyway, it's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. One, what is our current staffing complement of our local detachment?
I believe right now, as far as we kind of go by a term of frontline availability, so members that are available for frontline duties, and I believe, and again, it really does fluctuate. It seems we very often kind of just smile and shake our heads a little bit about it, because it can go anywhere between 79% and about 84%. So I think currently right now we're not doing too well, or we're not doing too badly. We're at about probably about 83 to 84% frontline availability, which is very good compared to some detachments in the organization, the OPP are a lot less, and some are a lot more. Even just prior to the meeting there, we were talking about the number of new officers that we do have coming into Norfolk County Detachment, and it's a lot. So it makes it challenging, because we like to see familiar faces, and even for myself, in the time that I've been here, I'll walk down the hall and I do little one-to-one meetings with any new member coming in, and it's more for my benefit, so I can put a face to a name, because there's so many new faces in the hallway with some of the officers, and that. But again, too, and I think we've had 29.
23 so far, with 3 more to come.
Yeah, and that's since
February of 2020. Oh, February of 2020.
So since February of 2024, we've had to August, we've had about 23.
So we'll have 25 by August.
We'll have 25 new officers by August, this August. So again, February to August, 25 new members. It just shows, and again, that's not atypical. That's very consistent with a lot of other OPP detachments right now. Lots of retirements right now, and there's a lot of movement going on within the organization.
So it would be fair to say that I know in the last couple of years, the OPP have been doing a hiring blitz. So fair enough to say that this is still continuing and they're looking for members.
Absolutely, and thanks for mentioning that. You know, absolutely, we're very, very engaged. Our OPP recruitment is very much out there trying to find qualified, skilled, incredible people. And, you know, I know there's a lot specifically in Norfolk County, and, you know, I really, it's an extremely challenging, but extremely rewarding career. And, you know, from a PR perspective, anybody out there that's interested, I really encourage them to stop by the detachment and ask for some information, or if you know an officer, just, you know, we'll do whatever we can to try to stimulate that and get the best people.
That's great. Any other questions arising? No? Okay. So with that, could I have a motion to receive the operation statistics and highlights as information? Member Veery and seconder, Member Vanden Rishi, all in favor? And that is carried. The next item on our agenda is 9.2. It is a sponsorship request for bicycle fleet expansion. All right, take it away.
Thank you again. Specifically with this, I'd like to just raise a proposal and a request to the board for the purchase, to support the purchase of 2 additional mountain bikes to add to our existing fleet of bicycles. So currently we have 7 bicycles at our detachment. These 2 bicycles that we would be purchasing are unique. The one we would be asking for would be an extra large framed bicycle. We do have some officers that are large, like big, tall officers. And while I find it amusing watching them ride the regular size bicycles, it reminds me of a circus bear a little bit sometimes. So I'm always trying to be more diversified in our, you know, what we're able to accommodate our members with being able to operate. So this one bicycle would be an extra large bike with accessories. The other one would be a regular size bicycle with the fat tires. And again, that just gives an extra dynamic for trails, different conditions that they can get. And very often too, we have to respond to very remote and very awkward areas to help people and to be able to support. So this bicycle would be able to really facilitate that. The 2 bicycles, I did provide the estimate for both of them. The combined cost for both bicycles, including the accessories that are required for them, would be $2,316.36.
Okay, thank you for that information, and I do want to point out for those at home who would not know this, the quote is from a local business. We're not looking at a big box store or somewhere out of the area. We're looking at supporting a small business here in Norfolk County with this request. Does anybody have any questions? Member Cruz?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just out of curiosity, Inspector, where did the budget come from the current 7 bicycles?
My understanding, I'd have to double check, to kind of dig deep into that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was the impression, I believe maybe a previous board did support with that previously, maybe years ago. But we're talking, I think some of these bicycles they're kind of tired, they are a little older. We're talking 10 plus years that they've been operational. And again, obviously with just a lot of our events, the 2 new bicycles would be very welcome for navigating the PD-13s, Putahawks, like any of our community events. It just gets the officers out in a way more unique manner and more effective manner sometimes.
So the OPP itself doesn't have an equipment budget for detachments, or?
No, unfortunately not. For bicycles, no.
Okay, thank you.
Member Vanden Rishi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If we were to consider this, what funding availability would we have?
Thank you for that question, and we will check that in terms of what's left in our budget. So the clerk's just telling me that what we could do is we could, if we do approve it, we would document it as pending, approval pending based on available funds. So, any other questions? Okay. Yep, Member Veery?
Thank you, Chair. For the inspector, so when you need these types of things, like is there, how do I ask this? Do you have to ask the police services or the OPP Detachment Board for these requests, or are you allowed to go to other sources? And I'm not trying to say don't ask us, but what I'm wondering is, like, are you restricted to asking only us, or can you ask service clubs? The reason I'm asking is because you could probably send this letter to my Rotary Club and get some positive results here. But if you're not allowed to do that, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think typically, and that's something I can definitely fact check a little bit more, like kind of look into a little bit more. I know typically we do have a very stringent, like very conflict of interest kind of policy within the OPP and within the OPS in a larger context of accepting gratuities or accepting things of that nature from private or from personal stake. So I think they kind of shy away from that aspect, and as a result, I think typically specific to the bicycles, and it's unique because the OPP facilitates the training. So there is a course, a bicycle course, that the OPP does send the members on. However, the bicycles themselves, the actual unit, would typically come from a police service board.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. So anytime that there is something that's not a conflict of interest, please feel free to reach out.
All right, with that, no further questions. Do I have anyone who would like to move this motion and recommend that the sponsorship request for $2,316.36 be approved to expand the bicycle fleet for the OPP, Norfolk OPP Detachment? Member Vanden Rishi?
Yes, I'll move that.
Okay. And do I have a seconder? Member Veery? All in favor? And that is carried.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is that subject to available funds?
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I was just, sorry. Okay, so with that, going on to the next item that was added to the agenda, I just wanted to make sure, sometimes I'm not sure if the emails go everywhere or if they just come to me, but I definitely wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of the Crime Stoppers Luncheon. It is Thursday, April 10th at 11:30 a.m. at the Hagersfield Legion. It is a great event to attend. It's a good, there's at 11:30 till 12 is a mix and mingle, then there's a light lunch, and then there are some recognition awards, etc. after. Unfortunately, I have a prior commitment that day, and I am unable to attend, so if anybody here is able to make it, it is a nice, I know Member Cruz, you've been before, yeah, okay, so definitely, that's good to know. So we definitely do have Member Cruz attending, so we'll be represented. Member Vanden Rishi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do we let someone know, or is it something we can pop into?
You can just pop into.
Oh, okay, perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. It's 11:30 a.m. I believe it goes 11:30 till 1 o'clock. Okay, next on our agenda, just a minute, need a drink of tea here. I think everybody's on the tail end of something this time of year. I had a request from Member Cruz regarding the meeting dates. So I just wanted to reiterate that our meetings are the third Wednesday of every other month at 9:30 a.m. here at Council Chambers. I do believe that on the website, under meetings and dates, the OPP Detachment Board meetings are listed there as well for the public to be able to attend or follow along at home. Are there any questions regarding that, or were there any concerns, Member Cruz? Were you looking at a date or time change or anything like that, or?
Actually, yeah, normally at the beginning of the first meeting in January, we have specific dates so that one can schedule around, like annual leave, or schedule around those specific dates. And just
Go ahead.
I can include all the dates in the minutes so that you have
perfect,
it
yeah,
for your...
thank you very much.
Right. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm just going to skip back for a minute. I don't know how, but somehow we forgot to do the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. So, Member Vanden Rishi, and a seconder. Member Cruz, and all those in favor. And with that, the minutes are approved from the last meeting. There is no correspondence arising from previous business. At this point in time, do we have the room available? Yep. Okay. We have a room available to move into closed session. We have 2 closed session items today. And can I have a mover for the following motion? That the board enter closed session at 10:17 a.m. to discuss an item pursuant to Section 44B(2)(6) of the Act as the subject matter pertains. A meeting of the Police Service Board or a committee of the board may be closed to the public if the following conditions are both satisfied. The meeting is held for the purpose of educating and training the members of the board of the committee. At the meeting, no member of the board or committee considers or otherwise deals with any matter in a way that materially advances the business or decision-making of the board. And pursuant to Section 44B(1)(b), personal matters about an identifiable individual, including members of the police service or any other employees of the board. Could I have a mover for that? Member Cruz, and a seconder. Member Veery, all in favor? And with that, we will go into closed session.
Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We've got a lot of questions here, and this video series will answer some of those. What is a subdivision? If a landowner would like to divide their property into 3 pieces of land, they can submit a severance application that we explained earlier. Whereas a subdivision application is required when a landowner has a piece of land large enough to divide into more than 3 or 4 individual lots to build new houses or other kind of developments. The subdivision process generally requires a more in-depth review with a longer processing time to ensure that the development meets county's development standards. What is a condominium? A condominium, often known as a condo, is an ownership model where the building or group of buildings is divided into multiple units that are surrounded by common areas for circulation, servicing, or amenities such as parks and open spaces. The common areas are jointly owned and managed by the owners of the units. Residential condominiums are frequently constructed as apartment buildings and townhouses with private roads. Many shopping malls are also commercial condominiums in which the individual retail and office spaces are owned by businesses that occupy them, while the common areas of the mall are collectively owned by these business entities. A condominium corporation is often made up of condo unit owners who manage and operate the condominium complex. What is the difference between a subdivision and a condominium? One of the main differences between a subdivision and a condominium development is who is responsible for providing services such as water, wastewater, and road maintenance after the construction and occupancy of the dwellings or units. In a subdivision, The county takes responsibility for providing these services to individual lots. On the other hand, in a condominium, the county is only responsible to providing services up to the entry point of the development. The condominium is responsible for distributing services and the maintenance to the individual units. How are subdivisions and condominiums approved? To get approval for a subdivision or condominium, the landowner must apply for approval of a draft of the plan that shows how many lots are proposed, the lot size, how the lots will be accessed, including any new roads, and how the lots will be serviced for water and wastewater or other utilities. The planning team will provide guidelines to the landowner on the standards they need to comply with. Examples include road design, tree plantation, fencing requirements, and maintaining a buffer from any existing industrial or commercial sites, etc. Generally, the subdivision applications go to council for a decision, whereas most of the condominium applications are currently approved by the county staff under delegated authority. How are residents informed about a new subdivision? When a draft plan of a subdivision is approved, the neighbors receive an approval notice of the application. The neighbors have 20 days to appeal against the approval or refusal of the draft plan. Once the appeal period has expired, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done by the developer before beginning the construction. An approved draft plan of subdivision does not constitute a legal lot. It is merely a draft plan. Norfolk County must ensure that all lots are appropriately designed and serviceable through a subdivision agreement, and only then can the lots be registered and the owner can apply for a building permit. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching. Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We get a lot of questions here, and this video series will answer some of those. What is site plan control? Site plan control is a tool that planners use to evaluate a proposed development to ensure the site features and elements such as walkways, parking areas, and landscapings, and many other technical features meet specific standards. For example, standards may include engineering design, sustainability, and universal accessibility for barrier-free access to the building or within the property. What do I do if I have submitted a permit and I have learned my property is under site plan control? If a property is under a site plan control, the first step is to speak with a planner. A planner will need to learn about what is changing about the lands, which may or may not require a site plan application. What is a site plan waiver? Sometimes the nature of a development is so minor that a site plan application is determined to be unnecessary. In this instance, a site plan control will be waived. If you have learned from a planner that it is appropriate to waive a site plan control, you can submit an application form with any required documents to the planning department to receive a site plan waiver. Do all lands require site plan control? Not all lands require site plan control. For example, single detached dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, and townhouses that are serviced and accessed from a public road. Agricultural activities or farm buildings also do not require a site plan control. Most new commercial, institutional, and industrial developments require a site plan control. A site plan agreement with the landowner may be required to ensure that appropriate standards are maintained during the construction period. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching.
Hey Norfolk County! Whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, we provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license, or a dog tag for your new companion. And the unique geographic features in Norfolk County, from farmland and forests to lakes and wetlands, means we also provide specialized services ranging from drainage applications to tree inspections. Wondering how to contact Norfolk County? Start with Service Norfolk. Our friendly team of agents is here to help. Reach us by phone at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. Calling about an issue after hours? No problem. We have you covered. Prefer online? Email askus@norfolkcounty.ca anytime, or use our customer service portal at service.norfolkcounty.ca and get a reply right to your email inbox. Want to visit us in person? Come to one of our friendly customer service counters in Simcoe, Monday to Friday, or Delhi, Tuesday to Thursday. Service Norfolk, connecting you to Norfolk County services.
Deputations are a way for you and all residents of Norfolk County to speak before Council about relevant matters in our community. To begin, search www.norfolkcounty.ca. Then select the Government tab. Under the Government tab, select Provide Deputation/Speak at a Council or Committee Meeting. This page provides general information regarding deputations. Under the subheading Register to Speak, click the Public Hearing/Deputation Form link to pre-register your deputation. Notice of Collection. By checking the Notice of Collection box, you are agreeing to the above statement. Selecting the type of meeting you want. There are several types of meetings that allow deputations. Please listen closely as we explain each option. Council meeting. Council deputations must pertain to a matter listed on the upcoming meeting agenda. For the remaining meeting choices, you may present a deputation if the topic pertains to the committee you are presenting to. Once you select the type of meeting you want to deliver your deputation, you can complete the rest of the document. Now choose whether you will attend the meeting in person or virtually. Finally, select if you will be providing materials during your deputation. If you have materials for distribution during the council meeting, please bring 15 hard copies for council and staff. Now click Next to move to Step 2. In Step 2, please fill out your personal information. Once your personal information is completed, click Next. Lastly, review your information and select Next to submit your form. You have now completed the deputation request form. You will receive a confirmation email from the Clerk's Department that they've received your request. Next, we will talk about what to do on the day of your deputation.
So, you've received your approval and the day of your deputation is upon you. For starters, Council is located here, at 50 Colburn Street. Now there's two entrances you can use when you arrive. One is here, located off Colburn, and one located off Talbot Street. When you arrive, you'll have three main options to park. The first is to park at the Simcoe Town Center Mall, which is where Food Basics is located. Your second option is 2-hour street parking on Court Street. And your third option is 2-hour street parking on Lott Street. If you can't find any parking at any of those three options, don't worry. Downtown Simcoe has plenty of street parking in all of the surrounding areas. If you enter through the Colburn Street doors, you'll have to make your way through the building to get to Council Chambers. But don't worry, if you require any assistance, you can feel free to ask Service Norfolk at the front desk. Make your way along this path and you'll end up in the main lobby. To your left, there'll be an elevator. You can either ring the bell or go ask the people at the front desk for assistance. If you don't need to use the elevator, you can head on up the green staircase and go up to Council Chambers. If you enter through the Talbot Street doors, the elevator will be immediately in front of you, or the green staircase will be ready for you to go up and deliver your presentation. Once you reach the top of the stairs, you'll have made it to Council Chambers. Feel free to take a seat here or here and wait for Council to call your name when it's time to present. When Council calls your name, make your way to the podium and ensure that you don't walk between the railing and the chairs on your way there. When you arrive at the podium, adjust it to your desired height using the arrow buttons and turn the microphone on using the button on the right. If you're giving your deputation in front of Council, begin by saying, "Through the Mayor." If you're giving it in front of a committee, begin by saying, "Through the Chair." Then, clearly state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to give your presentation. Upon having 1 minute remaining, the Chair will give you notice. When you're finished your presentation, Council may have questions for you. Ensure that you always begin your answer by saying, "Through the Mayor," or "Through the Chair" to Councillor and their last name. If you can't answer the question, that's okay. Inform council that you'll gather more information and get back to them. After that, council will have heard out what you've had to say, and they'll take appropriate action as they deem necessary. And now, you've finished your deputation. You can either have a seat and watch the rest of the meeting, or you can leave through the door that you came in and ensure that you leave as quietly as possible.
Hey Norfolk County, did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's water treatment facility. Here in Port Rowan, the water treatment process starts by pumping water from Lake Erie up into the water treatment facility. Back in the treatment facility, I inspect large clarification tanks where the lake water enters the plant. Here we add coagulant, a chemical that attracts dirt particles together. These form into larger particles called flock, which eventually sinks and is sent to waste. Next, the water enters the filtration system where any remaining dirt particles are trapped by the filters. The water is then chlorinated and sent into a 113 cubic meter underground storage chamber. The water is then taken to the granular activated carbon filters that work like supersized 10,000 pound Brita filters to remove taste and odor. The final step is disinfection, which includes UV and a final dose of chlorine, ensuring safe, potable drinking water. Water testing is an important part of the job. Throughout the day, we take water samples at different stages of the process, up to 9 tests depending on the treatment facility. As a Norfolk resident myself, I am proud to serve the community I live in. Thanks for joining me in this behind-the-scenes tour.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations welcoming about 27,000 customers every year and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
Hey Norfolk County, whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, we provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license, or a dog tag for your new companion. And the unique geographic features in Norfolk County, from farmland and forests to lakes and wetlands, means we also provide specialized services ranging from drainage applications to tree inspections. Wondering how to contact Norfolk County? Start with Service Norfolk. Our friendly team of agents is here to help. Reach us by phone at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. Calling about an issue after hours? No problem. We have you covered. Prefer online? Email askus@norfolkcounty.ca anytime, or use our customer service portal at service.norfolkcounty.ca and get a reply right to your email inbox. Want to visit us in person? Come to one of our friendly customer service counters in Simcoe, Monday to Friday, or Delhi, Tuesday to Thursday. Service Norfolk, connecting you to Norfolk County services.
Hey Norfolk County, my name is Anna and I'm here to share some water safety tips to keep you and your family safe around the water. Knowing how to swim is a life skill and an essential part of staying safe and having fun. Swimming lessons are the best way to learn essential swim survival skills to recover from a fall into deep water. Think you're too old for lessons? There are programs designed for teens and adults as well. With so many lakes and rivers, Canadians of all ages are avid boaters. Always wear a life jacket, it could save your life. Never swim alone, regardless of age and skill level. Always swim with a buddy. A buddy can throw you a buoyant aid if you get into trouble. When possible, wade into unknown waters to prevent injury. Backyard pools are a great place to make family memories. But remember, if you are not within arm's reach of your child in and around the water, then you've gone too far. Drowning can occur in as little as 10 seconds and it is silent. Every drowning death is preventable. Take time to educate yourself and those around you to ensure you're staying safe and having fun around the water. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/watersafety.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/Our Future Norfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We get a lot of questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those. The first big question is, what is the official plan? Norfolk County's official plan describes Council's policy on how lands in our community should be used, managed, and developed. It is prepared with community input and helps to ensure the future planning and development will meet the specific needs of our community. An official plan includes issues such as where new housing, industry, offices, and shops will be located, and what services like roads, water mains, sewers, parks, and schools will be needed. It also defines when and in what order our community will grow and outlines community improvement initiatives. The official plan is approved by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing in Ontario. The current official plan was adopted in 2016 with a goal to manage the growth of this county for the next 20 years. Residents can see Norfolk County official plan on our website at norfolkcounty.ca/official plan. What is a secondary plan? A secondary plan is a more detailed policy document embedded within the official plan to address the growth and development issues unique to a specific area of the county. For example, the lakeshore area in Norfolk County or a particular urban area with defined characteristics can be a secondary plan. As I mentioned, it is a more detailed policy document. It provides directions on where future development will occur with a guideline on density, road access, infrastructure services, different building types, building heights, or even design guidelines that are compatible to that specific area. In Norfolk County, there is only one secondary plan at this moment, which is the Lakeshore Special Policy Area Secondary Plan. The Port Dover Secondary Plan would be the second plan the county is working on at this moment. What does the land use designation of a property mean? Norfolk County's official plan also identifies how individual land or a group of lands will be used, and this is done by the land use designation. In Norfolk County, a lot of lands have been designated as agricultural. Some areas have been designated as hazard lands because of their specific natural features. An example would be the natural creeks, streams, rivers, or shoreline areas. Some lands have been designated as residential, commercial, or industrial to efficiently manage the growth of specific land use. Each land designation has rules about the kind of development allowed. The official plan uses growth management data to identify where and how much growth will occur in the next 20 years. In accordance with the provincial requirement, Norfolk County reviews and updates these growth areas every 5 years. What is the process of changing an official plan designation? A landowner can request to change the designation of the land through an official plan amendment application. This change requires a public hearing meeting and council's decision. A landowner needs to consult with a planner to get more information about this process and to identify the required documents they must submit. Any official plan amendment needs to conform to the provincial policy statement, which is a planning policy document that affects all municipalities across Ontario. This provincial policy statement is currently under review and may change in the future. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes on a capital project in Norfolk County. We begin planning capital projects by analyzing our infrastructure needs related to roads, water mains, storm and sanitary sewers, as well as bridges. We assess their overall condition, age, and servicing requirements. This provides a solid foundation to ensure Norfolk has the hard infrastructure for current and future needs. Once a project is determined and approved by Council, we retain an engineer to complete the design. During this stage, we engage the public through public information centers or postings on the county website to inform them of the upcoming project and provide an opportunity to share feedback. After the design is completed and all approvals are in place, we hire a contractor through a public bidding process. During the construction phase, we track progress, budget, and continue to engage with the public. We also work with other departments to ensure the overall success of the project. Once complete, we report and track any warranty issues for 2 years. We measure a project's success by its ability to enhance infrastructure and positively impact residents. As a Norfolk County employee, I enjoy building the community that has given me so much. Thank you for taking the time to join me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
We all have the right to feel safe at work, when spending time with friends and family, when participating in activities or attending a public meeting or event. Norfolk County is committed to ensuring our spaces and workplaces are safe. Our Respect and Responsibility policy outlines the code of conduct for employees, patrons, contractors, volunteers, coaches, and spectators. This code of conduct also applies to phone calls, emails, and virtual and social media platforms. We all play a part in fostering a respectful and safe environment. Inappropriate behaviors such as swearing, name-calling, verbal and physical threats, physical violence, harassment, and vandalism will not be tolerated. Staff have the right to take action when incidents occur. This may include denying service, asking individuals to leave, contacting the police, or, if necessary, suspending them from county programs and facilities. Those responsible for damaging county property will be required to cover the cost of repairs, fees, and lost revenues. We are committed to providing high-quality customer service and a safe and respectful environment for all. For more information about our Respect and Responsibility policy, visit norfolkcounty.ca/R&R.
Hi, I'm Hannah from the Norfolk County Planning Department. We receive many questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those, like, what types of planning applications are there? There are 4 main types of planning applications for different needs. First, there are minor variances and different types of severances. These are reviewed by Norfolk County's Committee of Adjustment. An example of a minor variance is when a garage is being built closer to a property line or is taller than what is permitted in the zoning bylaw. An example of a consent to sever is creating a new lot to allow for a new house. Second, are zoning bylaw and official plan amendments that are considered at council. An example is changing the permission in an urban area to allow for a triplex where a single detached dwelling is permitted. Third, are applications that Ontario's Planning Act gives Norfolk County's Planning Department authority to approve. For example, a draft plan of condominium or subdivision, which are types of applications which enable the division of land for future housing. And fourth, are applications which rely on approval from another regulator, such as telecommunications towers and hazard land boundary line adjustments. As a resident, when do I need to submit a planning application? For the average homeowner, a planning application may be required if your project does not meet the requirements of the zoning bylaw or official plan, or your property falls under site plan control. The building department will let you know that a planning application is required. If you want to change the boundaries of your lot, create an easement, or create a new lot from your property, you will need to apply for a consent to sever with the planning department. What is a pre-consultation meeting? A pre-consultation meeting is the first step of a planning application and allows staff to clarify the application process and provide a checklist of documents required. A complete application can reduce the time required for review and decision-making. Applications that must undergo a pre-consultation meeting before the application can be submitted include official plan amendments, zoning bylaw amendments, draft plans of subdivision, draft plans of condominium, and site plan applications. A meeting may also be required for certain Committee of Adjustment applications. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842. You can also email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Hannah from the Norfolk County Planning Department. We receive many questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those. A common question is, what is zoning? Zoning is a way of categorizing how land can be used. Norfolk County has identified through its zoning bylaw different land use zones, for example, commercial, agricultural, or residential, what they can be used for, and any required standards, for example, building size and location. Zoning must be maintained by any development or activity that has started from the date the zoning bylaw has been passed by the county. What is the process of changing a zoning bylaw? A common reason that residents are referred to the planning department is because their proposal does not meet the current zoning bylaw provisions. If a landowner wants to change the land use from what is permitted in the existing zoning, a change in the zoning bylaw would be required. For example, changing the permission from only a single detached dwelling to expand the permission to build a triplex. This is called a zoning bylaw amendment, and it requires council's approval. A planning application
live. Report out from closed. May I have a motion to reconvene in open session at 10:51 a.m.? Member Veery, and second it by Member Vanden Rishi. All in favor? And that is carried. The following matter was addressed in closed session. Yep.
That the closed session items were received as information and staff were provided with direction.
And I just need to go to the bylaw. Yeah, yes, please.
That a recommendation that bylaw number 2025-01 OPP being a bylaw to affirm the name of the Norfolk County OPP Detachment Board.
And Member Cruz, and seconder, Member Vanden Rishi, all in favor? And that is carried. And with that, I usually do this part. Adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 10:52 a.m.? All right. I'll move it. And Member Vanden Rishi seconds it. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you for it. This meeting is adjourned, and thank you for a wonderful meeting. Very productive, and everybody enjoy this beautiful day and be safe.